Nikki, thanks for being here. How's it going?
Everything's going well. Everything's going well. As I told you, I kind of put my YouTube thing on a back burner for a little bit. But it's still on the brain. Like as much as I'm like thinking, oh, I got to focus on this thing for now. I'm still thinking of YouTube. I'm still watching all the videos, teaching you all the tips and tricks. And I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to put that down.
Yeah, you've been doing YouTube for years, right?
Yeah.
When I met you May of 2024, and you were already like deep in YouTube, right? Like you had
Yeah.
a channel for a couple years at that point. Yeah,
Multiple. Yeah, I've tried different types of content. I've tried.
yeah, yeah. Because I saw you doing the education stuff with language, and then was there another format that you were doing as well?
I
Like,
had a personal channel where I was doing things like mindset, self development, productivity. I couldn't quite put my finger down on what I wanted to do on that channel. And like long before all of
yeah,
this, I had an art channel where it was just like speed paints and me just yapping over it with absolutely no point. But I just wanted to be on YouTube. So I was like, here's an excuse. Let me try that.
yeah. Yeah, I go back and forth with having a format versus like just sharing what I'm interested in. Whenever I try to figure out the perfect format, I end up in this paralysis analysis. And hence why I just jumped right back into this like podcasting thing because
Mm.
I was just, trying to ideate so much and I needed to just do it and experiment. What do you think nowadays? Like, is it better to be more focused or is it better to be more just diverse and sharing like varied interests?
I've seen both sides of the this argument and I don't
Mm.
even know what the right answer is, but my heart leans more into what you're doing where you just do it because I think it depends on the type of person. Like you and I are the type that will be be overthinking a lot and planning before actually putting, pedal to the metal. Um so I think we benefit from the do it argument, like just do it kind of mentality. But there are people who like they kind of just spray things at the wall without thinking at all, and maybe they benefit from the plan and strategize direction, right? So I think it really depends on the type of person. But personally, for me lately, I feel like I need to lean more into the do it, just do it. I actually am doing that with my work, my ESL teaching, English as a second language, where I've been trying to find ways to add more value for students. And I got a great idea from a class I took, like a class I was taking for myself. I took a Chinese class with this um, teacher, and he told me that in China, because I have mostly Chinese students, in China, they're like very interested in test prep. And I was like, I never thought of that. So I took away from that meeting and I was like, I should look into this deeply. And um, I decided, what, I'm just going to do this. I bought the books. I already am making my plan, and I started procrastinating a little bit. But then I went with my best friend, and I was like, let's make a deal with each other. Let's make push ourselves to do this. And I'm back on it again. And I think I can actually say like definitively in a week I will have class class options up on my teaching profile. So I'm trying that like let's just do it mentality right now. Not necessarily
Yeah.
in the YouTube space, but like I think it's a good practice just in life for the type of person that, overthinkers are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And you have an accountability partner,
Yes.
essentially. Yeah, which is, I think, one of the reasons people still hire coaches, right? Is that accountability. I think that's like the key thing that still can't be accounted for with like AI. That it can't be replaced. That accountability.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Um that is it's funny you should bring that up because when I was on our Twitter high with Danko, one of
Yeah.
the ideas that I contemplated was the accountability coaching. Um especially for productivity. At the time I was doing productivity, and I think it's still a viable idea. just like you're saying, like it's one of those possible moats that is difficult for AI to overcome, just because it can like pretend to be human, but it never will be, run out of context window. Oh, who are you again? Paying absorbent amounts of money, losing your sanity. Like there's so many risks with AI versus just like having a real person that you can trust, that you can rely on, that will actually care about you, deeply, and that feeling, that real like knowing that they actually care about you. I feel like that's something that will still be around for a long time. And if people don't get too sick of, coaching and that kind of thing, I think it'll still be beneficial for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've actually had like the AI tell me like, "Oh, we're we feel this way," or and it'll use like a collective "we" as
Oh,
though
is
it
that so?
can relate to like what I'm thinking or feeling, and I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, you're not a 40-year-old man. Like, what do you have no idea of mortality. Like, this
Yeah.
is,
Hmm.
completely just like, a language learning model." But it's bizarre. It does a lot of times sound like you're talking to a person, or gives good insight. So it can, it can be seductive, right? For sure. But um, yeah, I think you're right. People are starting to like want to connect with people and know what's real. I think that's like
Yes.
this big fear right now is like, how do we
Hmm.
know what's real? Because I mean, a lot of times I can't tell a photo anymore if it's like,
Yes.
a real ad campaign or like, with an actual model or not. Um, and I'm seeing these demos now where they're like doing the character swaps. Like there was
Oh.
one, did you see that Stranger Things where there was like a guy sitting there and he kind of just like toggled between all the different characters and made all these facial expressions, and it looked like just like those like Millie Bobby Brown, the girl from the show.
Oh, wow.
Even the way she moved her face and everything, like it was like it moved the eyebrows the way that she moves her eyebrows. It was like
Ah.
bizarre. I mean, for like 2 seconds, I think, from being able to have like these actors just sort of lend their likeness and not even
Hmm.
necessarily have to perform. I mean, I don't know how they feel about it, or I'm sure
Hmm.
it'll be a mix. But
Hmm.
yeah, we're in this like age now where people are questioning what's real, and I'm actually starting to see design go away from like the AI perfection of it all and kind of go more back to this like zine style cut and paste, like 1970s like um, media, where it's just a lot more sloppy, because like that's the thing we don't get anymore is like the sloppiness
Hmm.
of everything.
Hmm.
Everybody is like crafting and perfecting everything and fine tuning it through AI and editing themselves. And it's just, I think, loses something. It loses that the humanity. And that's actually like what people look for, because, it's those moments where you're talking to someone in real time and you see how they respond, or the cadence of with which they talk, that's not perfect, that you kind of really get a sense of their essence of who they
Yeah.
are. And so,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think we're in that like we're right on the forefront of like this explosion. I think we all know it, but we're in this trust based like economy now.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
that. I feel that. I mean, I'm seeing more and more. Like, I was trying to remember the meme while you were talking. It's like, oh, there's the meme that I saw recently, in the comments of a video. It was like in 2024, the disclaimer was this. I can't remember what the disclaimer, the old one was, but it was like in 2026, the disclaimer is this was not made with AI.
Yeah.
So it's like
I
this is now the stamp of genuine. It's not made with AI, and people are looking for that. Like there's a channel, I don't know if you've seen it, that's gotten really popular for lo-fi, and their claim to fame is like lo-fi made by real people. We are like they're singing live with their little dog, and they're just like making music and posting it on their channel. And I keep seeing them pop up more and more, and I feel like they're just getting more and more popular because that's like the vibe right now.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I was thinking of starting to put like, made by humans or written by human, like being on things that I write.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's funny.
yeah.
My degree is software engineering, my master's degree, and the degree seems to be like the school seems to be changing up like how they're doing the degree, trying to possibly respond to the whole AI surge. And this semester is just like topsy turvy. It's crazy. And the things they want us to do and complete in the amount of time, like everyone's confused. It's
Mm,
really crazy. But one of the main themes is the encouragement of the use of AI, because they know people are trying to use AI to write their papers anyways. So then they say just disclose what you use AI for, in what capacity. That's all. You can use AI. And then this we're on the third week now. They want us to complete a portion of the assignments completely with AI, with Figma, to do the initial design. And the instructions literally say like the design shouldn't take you very long at all. You're going to spend the time on implementation. Like just have the design be created by the AI. And it highlights to me like everyone's kind of rushing to make everyone to stay relevant with
mm,
the AI influx, and everyone's looking at it in a different perspective. Schools, at least this school, are starting to feel maybe we need to prepare, software engineers for going into the workforce and having AI skills. And then there are people like in the creative arts who are like resisting it with all their strength. And they're like, I want to do all of this myself. I want to prove that I don't use AI, and show that I'm competent and things like that. And I'm very interested. Like I'm not scared. Like a lot of people are scared about how things are going. Even like for me being in this field, I should be worried. Like, am I gonna have a job when I get out?
yeah.
But I'm not. I really am not. And part of it is my faith in God and Jesus. But the other part of me is like, humans are too much. I say it in a slightly derogatory term, but I mean it with all the love, that we're like cockroaches. Like you can't stomp us out completely. We really can't be killed completely. Like no matter how people try to, whatever the conspiracies are of like trying to like what is it, like cull the population or whatever. Like
Mm.
you can't undo the human race, because humans are too hardy, and they always survive. So we're going to figure something out, and people who want to work will work, and people who don't want to work won't work. And it's just to keep your head on your shoulders, and like thinking about things like we're talking about with, little niches like accountability coaching. It it might it might seem like, well, maybe I can't do that, but you don't know until you try. And then there are other little things that are hidden out there that is just, if you keep your eyes open and not like be, blinded by anxiety, you'll find something. And you'll find something in the things you like too. I really believe that. I really believe we will make it through this AI apocalypse. And some of us will embrace it. I personally, I don't hate AI. I don't use it for all the things, but I use it. um and some of us will resist, and we'll see where we end up. But I have faith in being able to express your creativity and like do meaningful things still, even with whatever AI wants to offer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I talked to friends of mine who were in software. I don't think I realized that your degree was that you were getting a master's in software engineering.
Yeah.
Somehow I missed that. Like I knew you were in school, but I didn't realize it was for that. Um, but yeah, they've been telling me how much the industry has changed since I left, and like, um, you know, how people are expected to work with AI now, and like the productivity that they're expected to output is like 5, 10x like per week. And I see it out there. I see the acceleration of how everybody's afraid that they are trying to keep up with all of the new apps, the new software that comes out. It's like, I mean, anytime I read a list of like what AI tools so and so is using, or the best productivity this or that, like apps, it's a lot of them I've never heard of, and it's like it becomes overwhelming, it becomes daunting, and you just wonder like what's the limit? When do we like decide, okay, like enough's enough? Like not that we would say, oh, okay, well, like just shut it all down, but like I think we are starting to see people who are deciding, like, you know what, I'm not, I can't keep up. It's gotten too crazy, and I'm not even going to try to keep up anymore. I'm just going to do me now. And I think that's kind of like a little bit of the mindset of what we were talking about at the beginning, which is like, I'm not going to get the perfect idea. So I'm just going to experiment and do what I'm going to do. And I think people are starting to do that online a little bit with like their content creation, the stuff they're putting out there. They're like, you know, I don't know what's next because my career is like in jeopardy, but I'm just going to start posting content and see what happens. So I think we're starting to see more people come into the space, more people just kind of like letting it rip in a sense. Um, I don't know. Covered a lot of stuff there all in one bite, but like it's all connected, right? It's all like swirling around in this like soup of the internet and now AI, which has really like accelerated things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I just look at it now and I think like, wow, like I just don't even know how somebody could be expected to keep up with this. Um, and it's like you said, I'm not surprised. It's really interesting that your school is like kind of like flying by the seat of their pants, trying to figure out how to like reconcile this before the end of the semester, even
Yeah,
changing the
yeah.
curriculum mid, semester.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
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 but I mean, so I understand like their frustration and I guess their desire to make their students usable out there. Um, it may be a crazy way to go about it, but like I understand, and I am grateful because I don't know that as a programmer I kind of resist using AI too much. I do use it in terms of like if there's something I'm learning that I don't know and I need it to explain. So like it gives me a code snippet. I don't know all that's going on. Explain to me what's going on. That's how I learn using the AI, right? But I essentially prefer to just write things myself. Now with this course, they're having us like do like a lot, like do let AI do a lot more than I would be comfortable letting AI do, right? And I guess that I'm guessing they're trying to say that that's what it is like out there, that your company wants productivity over your learning, or your competence.
right.
But I think there's an argument um, that I agree with, and it actually came to mind when you were talking about something else. Gosh, I should have written it down, but um, like I think it goes for other industries where in software engineering, if you just have people using AI or even you just have seniors, people using AI and making all the things, you're not going to have the pipeline anymore of people becoming seniors. There'll be no one left to become a senior, and you're kind of killing the position, the entry level, which is done so easily with AI, because those people need to gain skills in order to become the people who can be competent. And I think this is the same in other fields that might try to use AI to take over the position. You're not going to have the person learning the skills that require them to be the senior in that position to like run things. They're not going to have the background, they're not going to have the foundation. You're going to have incompetence, and then you're going to have situations like entire code bases that can't be debugged because the people who wrote them just use AI and don't understand it. I think there's like a new job position. Have you seen it? Vibe coding cleanup specialist. Have you
Ah,
seen that?
I have not seen that.
Crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, a new job position already. There we go. People need to go in and like fix the problems that
Yeah,
vibe coders have caused. But like, I guess that's just evidence of them saying, the new economy that's created by AI or the displacement of other jobs create new jobs. So that's an example, I guess. But I just think a lot of the times we get a little short sighted by the money, and we forget about our humanity.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you. Like, new jobs will be created. I think it's becoming a situation where, from the people I've talked to, you've got to do more systems design stuff, and then you
Mhm.
use AI to kind of do like the junior level coding, and you have to kind of oversee all of it. But you're right. How do you get the new people entering the workforce um, to be able to level up to that point? I- Honestly, I think AI is kind of like created this gap where like new people come into the workforce and they need those entry level jobs. Now, if AI is taking those entry level jobs and the people that were like already in software are kind of having to level up to become more systems architects, how does how do the people entering the workforce gain the experience to cross that chasm? It's exactly
Mm.
what you're saying. Like um, they're the low level jobs, the menial tasks that people used to cut their teeth on have been taken away from people.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a weird time. I mean, I think we're just seeing the beginning, and the funny thing is, like when I was, you know, in the field, people used to think like truck drivers would be the first ones replaced.
Yeah. They
But
still working. They're still fine.
they're still trucking away, and software engineers have replaced themselves, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I'm with you. I think ultimately we're gonna come out the other end of this better. I think a lot of the tasks that computers are good at doing are tasks that people don't really want to do, you know, and then, in the same breath, I guess there's also what you mentioned with like the creatives and people feeling like, oh, well, AI can make songs now and AI can, make photos and art. I mean, I can't tell the difference now for some of these AI songs. I heard
Yeah.
like one on X the other day, and it was like it sounded like something from the 1950s. Like it sounded like
Wow.
it was recorded back then. It was yeah, it was like you can F right off or whatever. Like it was the song you might have heard. It was like going viral. Like it was sung in this old fashioned style, and like
Wow.
um, if you knock at my door, you can F right off or something. It was kind of funny. Like you wouldn't have expected it, like, with that voice. Um,
Yeah, they're getting
uh,
pretty good.
yeah, so, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I just it's like one of those situations where you don't know what to do, you just keep doing, right? Keep creating, um, and it's like all of our institutions kind of being disrupted. Like, I was watching there's been a lot of, like, sports on TV lately with, like, football and even, like, basketball starting up. I was in a bar and it was on TV and it was kind of funny to me. I was thinking like it's weird, like we still have um, all these student athletes and people still going to these institutions, um, still trusting that like if they do what is asked of them by the institution, like they'll be rewarded at the other end. Um,
Mm.
because I think we know now more than ever that's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like when I was in school, right, like high school and everything, it still had that like, factory style school. Like you go to
Yes.
like the bell rings, you go to class, you sit down, lecture style education. And I think we've got so much information now that proves that that's not the most effective way to learn.
Mhm.
Um, but I still have nephews who are going to school doing that. They hate it. I don't blame them. I kind of think to myself, like, we're still educating children that way? Like, how is that?
Mm.
Like, it just seems dated. It seems so
Yeah.
antiquated. And when I see these kids like on TV, even like doing the college sports thing, like that whole system is like just being disrupted by like name, image, and likeness contracts, by like
Wow.
people going different routes into the professional realm. And like it's gotten so competitive, like because it's not just like domestic, it's international, and people are being found like on YouTube in Africa. Like, it's like there's really no guarantee the way there used to be. So it just seems like all of our institutions are kind of like, you know, on trial right now. And I find it surprising when people are still going the traditional route, um, because there's really, it doesn't seem like to be that guarantee anymore. But I just think there's really, you don't know what else to do. It's like the same
Yeah.
reason I keep posting. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's a flood of AI stuff out there, and everybody sort of sounds and looks the same, but I don't know what else to do. I'm just going to keep posting my own thing, and hopefully like I'm that signal in the noise. um, and I'm realizing as I'm saying this, like, you're in a traditional education system right now,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this before. Like, you knew that. Like, I told you 2 years ago, I'm like, I don't know if I would bother learning coding, and you're like, I don't care. I want to learn coding. I've always wanted to learn coding. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And to me, that was like, that made total sense. That was justifiable. It's like, same for me. I wanted to learn coding. I found it interesting, and it used a part of my brain that was exciting to me. And um, so, I never pushed back on that. I was like, I get why she wants to do it, but you are sort of seeing the bricks crumble from the building, like, while you're
Yeah.
like getting your degree on the way
In
out.
there. Yeah. I'm like walking out with the ceiling falling in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and actually, you remind me of something I heard someone talking about, like basically like why things seem to be like degrading right in front of our eyes, and it's because the rate change of eras is like speeding up, and we're just in like a super exponential period of time where everything is changing faster than we can like react. So like I can't remember all the eras, but like they you talk about the agricultural era, how long that lasted, like centuries, versus information age versus industrial age versus techno education what and enter educate I can remember, like entertainment education age, that was like just recent, versus now we're in like this AI time where it seems like there's a new thing on the horizon every couple months almost, like. And now ChatGPT 5, and now Claude 5.9, or whatever the number they're up to now, um, that can do all these amazing things, the video editing, and like you start to wonder like, what should I tool up on? Like, even if you were to like change directions, just like you're saying, like people don't know what to go to. So we just kind of stick with what we know. And we think about like our parents who insist on us going to university or getting PhDs. Like my family is Caribbean, and they're like very traditional in that sense. You go to school, you go all the way to the end to that PhD, like you get everything. Um so in their minds, like thinking of anything else doesn't make sense, but that's because that's the world they grew up in, that worked for them, or that they grew up seeing work for other people. So now our generation and millennials, who are like the adults and parents right now, are thinking, well, I had to go through school and it kind of worked for me, it should work for you too. So it's like, even with everything going on, it's hard to tell what's good in the future. And there are very few people who can grasp that the change is too fast for you to go the traditional route, you know? Like I'm even considering now, like even after like all these years doing this degree, because I slowed down. I would have finished in 2 years, but I slowed down because I wanted to save up for a particular goal for my family. And so I ended up finishing. I'm finishing this year, um, and I'm now thinking like maybe I'll just get like my certificate in I think it's, I can never say that word, phlegmology, oh gosh, the one who
Phlebotomy?
takes your blood,
Phlebotomy, I think.
phlebotomy, yeah.
Yeah.
And just like get a certificate in that and like do that job for a while, and then maybe um get like something more physical that's less likely to be replaced by a robot. Like robots are going to take a lot more time. We need a lot more time for robots, I think. Who knows? But
I don't want a robot taking my blood, that's for sure.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
at least people will reject it long enough. So I think we're safe like doing a job like that. So I'm like thinking like I'm probably going to like do the software engineering on the side and do something like more physical as like a safer job, at least for the time being. Who knows what's in the future, you know?
Yeah.
And there gonna be more and more people who will wake up to that and realize like, the MBA might not be the answer, the software engineering degree, the whatever university degree you come up with. Maybe you and like a lot of people are turning to running their small business, and there's some people who really aren't cut out for it in the beginning, and it's going to take a long time for them to be like, build up to the metal that it takes to like run a small business, but they're thinking, what choice do I have? Or But I really think we'll figure it out. It's just going to take some time that AI is not giving us. AI is like racing ahead of us, and it just feels like we're running a losing race.
Yeah. Yeah, the technology is moving fast, but we're the ones pushing it, right? Like, there's this
True.
arms race between these AI companies,
Yeah.
and I mean, as much as we're sensing fear from the consumer end of this, like, that arms race between these companies is fear-based too.
It's true.
They're all, like, worried about becoming irrelevant because, I mean, I I've seen I know in my own behavior and I've seen in the community online, people just move with the cheese, right? Like, one release of, like, ChatGPT is better than Claude, and everybody moves over there, and then, like, Claude's better, and they move over here, and, now, like, the images from, Nano Banana are, like, blowing people's minds, and everybody's, like, jumping over to that. Like, it within a week, like, you could probably lose a third of your, like, users, I think, just
Yes.
because they'll just cancel their membership and try this one for a month, try that one for a
Yep.
month, like,
Yep.
and I've from the services I use, it's almost like with this. So for me, with the streaming services, a lot of times I'll, like, just run through, like, all the shows, and then I'll cancel that one, and then, like, sign up for the other one and run through them, and then now the other seasons are back, I jump to
You
the
just
other
go
one,
back.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart.
I'm finding it's the same with a lot of the AI tools. It's like, oh, I'm
Oh,
doing a bunch of, like, video editing this month, and, like, CapCut, or, and then if I'm doing, like, image generation the next month, it's like, I don't always remember to do it, but, like, if I'm like a down tick, like, for a certain service, I'll just, maybe suspend it for a month, or, like, cancel it, and then, it'll expire in, like, 2 weeks, it says, and then it's like, okay, well, if I need it,
it's
I'll
still there.
renew it.
Hmm.
But, like, if I end up not needing it, like, in a month from now, like, I'll just, or if I do need it in a month, it's like I saved 2 weeks subscription because I just
Yeah.
wasn't even using it then anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think a lot of these companies are in this, like, race right now, and, people are desperately trying to keep up. But I think the the software engineering degree you have reminds me of, I think of, like, law degrees. Like,
Mm.
lawyers, like, in the '80s and everything, like, everybody was getting a law degree, and
Oh.
even in the '90s, and it just started to become, like, really saturated. But people were still getting law degrees, and they were going into, like, political science and things like that, like, afterwards, and, um, it was always seen as like, "Oh, well, it's a good degree to have." Like, if you
Mm.
have a law degree, you're employable. People will be impressed by that. I'm assuming that's probably what's gonna be the case with the software engineering degree. It's like, okay, like,
Hmm.
this person's intelligent, she's got a master's degree in software engineering, like, she's, no dummy. Like, she's
Yeah.
gonna be able to adapt, and, and understand systems. Like, if you're gonna hire somebody and they need to know a bit about, like, AI and understanding how to integrate that into a system, like, maybe she's not the engineer doing it necessarily, but there's a role for somebody that has that degree versus
Mm.
doesn't have that degree. So I think
Yeah.
it's probably going to be useful in that context.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Another analogy that I kind of have to all of this is like I don't know all the history of it, but like I can imagine when the calculator came around. I remember like actually when the arguments about using calculators in school was going on.
Yeah.
Um I remember like I don't think I even touched a graphing calculator till university. Like my school was like a little private school and they didn't I don't think they let us use like graphing calculators. It was just like a regular calculator. Um, so like I remember when they were afraid, the same fear, like you're going to lose your skills. People aren't going to be able to write, like just the same fears. People writing things with AI and can't write anymore. Um, but they're still mathematicians. There's still people who have to get a math degree and go teach you how to do the math eventually. Like there's still people who actually do need like the that deep technical fundamental understanding of math in like high positions and what it has created, and maybe that's what's going to happen with software engineering, kind of like you're pointing at. I think how there's going to be a chasm. Maybe there's not going to be that entry level anymore because they're not needed anymore, but there's still a need for software engineering, just like in a more technical aspect. Much like a mathematician, you don't need like a mathematician to, you don't need like a mathematician of a PhD degree to teach math class in like a kid like fourth or fifth grade, right? You
Yeah.
need that for like university or like NASA or something like more technical, more advanced, and then that makes it more valuable. The only difference is that this is happening so fast that there are just too many software engineers that are available for the few jobs. So it's like maybe you can't fill it, maybe you can't satisfy the need yet with all the people that want the job, but I think it's going to even out where there's still going to be a place for software engineers, but there's going to be more of a balance about who actually attempts to go into that field because of where the need is and how technical you have to get, how good you have to get at your craft to actually be usable. So I think it might, instead of making lazy engineers or people who just vibe code surviving in these places, I think it's going to make more technically advanced people who strive harder to be so good that they're actually needed in these higher positions. I think that it's going to make more to experts is what my guess is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. If you look at other industries, like, yeah, the type of mathematics and the type of things that we're doing today in NASA and SpaceX, these types of companies, like, I'm confident the math they're doing was math that was, incomprehensible 60 years ago.
Mm,
Like, I'm assuming like they're just able to have these equations and predictions for like how to calculate like all of the different variables with these space launches. And I mean, I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff, but I mean, it's like it's like getting supercharged, right? With the technology, it's like suddenly now you can do a lot more. I think, I think there's still like the mental load though of
mm,
having to keep all of these different tools, and you become like a manager of all these different tools, and you have to keep that straight in your brain. It's like you can do more, but you're also managing a lot more. It's like that idea of we create technology to ease the workload, but does the workload ever ease, or does
mm,
that
mm.
productivity just become the new baseline?
Yeah.
And now, like, I think the cognitive load of life today is, I think, overwhelming for most people,
Yeah.
right? Like, we now are trying to manage a job, probably a side hustle because you need a little extra income because it's so expensive. So, like,
To
what used to
live.
be a single income home is now a four income home.
Yeah.
You've got like the two cars, you got your house, your mortgage. Like, I mean, these things have been around for a while, but like social media, like trying to make sure like your online presence is still there, like you're trying to learn new skills all the time. Like, I mean, and the list goes on. Like,
Yeah.
I think we all have our own experience of like how much stuff we're trying to take on. Like now, everybody's trying to be fit at the same time. They're trying to eat healthy. They're trying to learn a new hobby. They're trying. It's like we've got all of these things we're doing, and we can do because of the internet and because of like technology nowadays. But like that's still exhausting us mentally. It's still draining our
Mm,
mental resources.
yeah.
And I think in a way that, again, 60, 70 years ago wasn't as, draining for people. Like they weren't maybe doing as much, but like that's okay. They didn't care because the baseline was lower. So we just keep raising the baseline on ourselves, and everybody's like now having to like keep 10 balls, 20 balls
Mm,
just to be considered like a successful person. And like otherwise, you know, you feel, I think a lot of us feel like we don't have social relevance or status if we can't like prove that we're, doing well at work, or we're doing well in our family life, that we're healthy, we're going on all the right vacations and that kind of stuff. Like I mean, at least around here in California, because like in Orange County, it's very much that way.
Mm. But
Um,
yeah.
you know,
Um, you made me think of like this whole overload that you're talking about. Um, I feel like that's going to be resisted as well. I feel like it started already. A lot of people, trying to minimalize. I don't know if you've seen that trend that's been going on YouTube a lot. There's this guy, I think, I didn't watch the video, but he talked about like, um, I think he sat, it was like sitting on a chair with like nothing in the room. And I think he was talking about how he like eliminated like as much as possible from his life. I didn't actually watch the video, but I did see like the premise of it. And I feel like this is being pushed because of this overload of productivity. And like even AI adds to that in the workplace, just like you're saying, because AI is doing some more things for you, you should be able to do more things. That's the same thing that's happening with this semester. Because they're giving us AI to do things, they're like, okay, now do more things because now you have more time, right?
yeah,
um but it actually brings me around to a thought that came to me at the top of this year. And actually my sister had the exact same thought, which was kind of interesting. Like we both felt the same like pull of like doing less. And I literally like every year I usually sit down and like write a bunch of goals that I want to set out for the year. And I organize them with action steps and habits I need to put in place. And I organize by the time of year I'm going to start them. Everything I did that like last year went wonderfully as usual. This year I sat down, I was doing like, who was it? Chris Williamson. I don't know if you know that podcaster. And my best friend, she gave me like this thing to fill out, just like a reflections list. And I went through it and I just had this feeling of like, I want to not do any of this. And I just felt like I want to do less things this year. And I literally have three things that I wrote down to do. One of them I dropped already. Actually, two of them. Two of them I dropped already. And I'm honestly right now, because of how school started off, I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to focus on school. But like, I am in the mindset of like doing one thing. I just want to do one thing. I just want to focus because I just feel like there's so much that wants to be done. Like you're saying, I want to lose the weight. I want to eat healthy. I want to uh get married. I want to have a good job. Like even that I had to drop. Like I was looking for a job and I was like, nope, I cannot handle a job with this semester. So I stopped that. And like so it's like that feeling of overwhelm is real, and I feel like a lot of people are going to push away from it, just like the thing with like people trying to grayscale their phone, turn off notifications, like escape the matrix, whatever. um it's going to be like that pendulum of that humanity loves to do, swinging to the other side. And I feel like a lot of people are going to feel it and they're going to react probably in a similar way of like, I want to do less and I want to be able to breathe and be present and mindful and like enjoy where I am. Um, but you made me think of that idea of like that need to focus, because even as a person who loves to do many things, even for me, I'm feeling that strain and actually feeling that rebellion in wanting to let go, you know?
yeah, yeah. I think we're going to see that in 2026. A lot of
Mm,
people simplifying their lives,
yeah.
um, because it's just, I think, gotten a little too noisy in a lot of our brains. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know how people watch the news, keep up on social media. I mean, I have to be on there with content creation, but it's taxing. I can get sucked in, and you know, I- especially with like political news and stuff, I just don't have the bandwidth for it. Like, it's it's just too exhausting. Like, I
Yeah.
won't have any energy left at the end of the day if I'm
Yeah.
absorbing all of this content and information.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I have to like tune out. I have to just focus on my life and the things that um, are present, like in the immediate vicinity, not worrying about things happening halfway around the world that I have no control over whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I know you got to go in a minute. Now, I wanted to talk to you about um, just content creation and being in that space, because I think a lot of people are going to be washing out of certain careers.
Oh, yeah.
And like, where do you see the industry going in the next year? Like, what's changed in the time that you and I have known each other? Like, maybe we'll have to have another call about that because um, I think a lot's changed. Like, even Dan co-posted something the other day saying like information products are
Oh,
dead.
yeah, I saw that.
Um, and maybe he was just trying to like, maybe it was clickbait, maybe he's trying to eliminate some competition, or maybe he really believes it. I don't know, but um, I definitely have found it more challenging personally. Like coming into it, I think I saw what Dan was doing and what some of these other creators were doing, and I've seen them change their behavior like in real time. It's like kind of similar to what we were saying with your degree. I sometimes feel like I walked into a building that was, on a unsteady foundation. Like things just started to like shift around me real fast.
Mm.
And that's probably because of AI as well, right? Like allowing more people to enter into content creation. It's like lowered the barrier to entry. Um, but yeah, it's like that whole promise or expectation is a better way of putting it, of like what the outcome might be if you follow this path, um, is rapidly changed, and we're seeing that I think even at the top of you know the pyramid here.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely see that, and, in terms of my perspective, like, I don't know for sure, but I do think it's gonna, lean into more realness. I hate to say the word authenticity, but, like, I mean someone who's, like, genuine, or, like, it's not like too polished, like we talked about. There's rough edges, but also you're not like in a wife beater sitting on your in your backyard, because unless you're rich, nobody cares about that, right? There's still a need to like present yourself in a way that people care about you. But there are going to be people who are going to latch on to channels they care about more. Even like the YouTube algorithm is interesting. That will play a part in this. Like the way it's been acting for me, I'm like wondering how good it is for content creators right now, especially those who want to start new. Like there's some good aspects in terms of like promoting smaller channels, but there's the aspects of like how quickly you become irrelevant if someone just doesn't click on your video 3 times in a row, you know? So it's like there are the balances and there's the difficulties, but I still think it's worth it if you want some semblance of independence, but at the same time to make impact. Because I still think content creation is a great way to make impact. And one thing Danco, I don't remember if it was that particular video, but I watched that video and a couple videos after. And one thing he talked about, and I thought that was a good point. He's like, opinions, having an opinion has always been the way um to stand out. It has always been the way to stand out. Um and it will never stop being a way to stand out. And I think that's something I want to have too. Like I feel like I've always struggled with being confident with an opinion. But there's so many people, that's how they get big. It's just having a very strong opinion that maybe a lot of people agree with and a lot of people don't. But it doesn't matter because it gets the attention. So there, I think they're just going to be different techniques, different tricks that'll emerge, and even with the saturation, there'll always be a way to like sneak through the noise. I still think it's a good route to consider. But yeah, we could
Yeah.
talk about that again some another time.
Yeah. All right. Well, and we're out of time, but yeah, I appreciate you being here, and this is great talk.